Hi everyone, back for our third installment of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw. So again, we're keeping track of what we think the main idea is going to be, or what this story is going to be about. What's his last straw? I don't know. I haven't read this one. But let's look a little bit at some text features. Let's look at Greg right here in this photo. This is probably our biggest clue as to what the last straw is going to be. I'm going to let you look at it. And I'm going to let you write for this week what you think based on this picture his last straw will be. And see if you can find anything in this week's reading or this video's reading that supports what you think this might be. What's his last straw? He didn't have on a whole lot of clothes, so that's a clue. And since we're in the season of winter so far in this book, I don't think it's gonna happen. It may not happen too soon. I don't know. I can't tell. Can you tell where he is? I see a wall. That's about it. So I see a wall and I see Greg in his underoos, but we don't know what's going on. So let's keep reading. So we're back to another Monday. Monday. Well, my week off got off to a rough start. When I got out of bed, Mom's bathroom was not there, where it usually is, hanging on my doorknob. I asked Mom if she took the robe back, but she said she didn't. So I have a feeling Dad has something to do with it. A couple of days ago, I figured out a way to combine the bathrobe experience and the heating vent experience, and I don't think Dad really approved of my idea. I figure he either hid the robe or got rid of it. Now that I think of it, Dad made a run to the Goodwill bin last night after dinner, so that's probably not a good sign. Anyway, if Dad did get rid of the robe, it wouldn't be the first time he's thrown out someone else's personal property. You know how Manny has been trying to quit using his pacifier? Well, yesterday morning, Dad got rid of every single one of Manny's binkies. Well, Manny totally freaked out. The only way Mom could get him to calm down was to dig out his old blanket. This is the thing he calls Tingy. Tingy started off as a blue blanket that Mom knitted for Manny's first birthday, and it was love at first sight. Manny carried that thing around with him everywhere he went. He wouldn't even let Mom take it away so she could wash it. It started falling apart, and by the time Manny was 2, his blanket was basically a couple of pieces of yarn held together by raisins and boogers. I think that's when Manny started calling his blanket Tingy. For the past couple of days, Manny's been dragging Tingy around the house, just like he did when he was a baby, and I've been trying to stay out of his way as much as possible. Wednesday. I'm getting really tired of walking to school every day, so this morning I asked Mom if she would drive me and Riley. The reason I didn't ask her sooner is because Mom's car is covered in all these embarrassing bumper stickers, and kids at my school are brutal when it comes to that sort of thing. I've tried scraping the bumper stickers off, but whatever kind of glue they put on those things is meant to last until the end of time. Today, me and Riley got a ride from Mom, but told her to let us out behind the school. Well, I made the dumb mistake of leaving my backpack in the car, so Mom brought it in to me during 4th period. And of course, she picked today to start going to the gym. Let's look at that photo. It was just my luck too. Fourth period is the only time I have class with Holly Hills, and I've been trying to make a good impression on her this year. I figured this incident probably set me back about 3 weeks. I'm not the only one who's trying to impress Holly Hills either. I think just about every boy in my class has a crush on her. Holly is the fourth prettiest girl in class, but the top three all have boyfriends. So a lot of guys like me are doing everything they can to get in good with her. I've been trying to come up with an angle to separate myself from the rest of the goobers who like Holly. And I think I finally figured it out. Humor. See, the kids in my class are like Neanderthals when it comes to jokes. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, here's the kind of thing that passes for comedy. Trip. Har, har, har. Anytime Holly's in the area, I make sure to use my best material. I've been using Riley as my comedy partner, and I've actually trained him on a couple of pretty decent jokes. What you doing? Eating chocolate. Where'd you get it? A doggy dropped it. He, he, he. The only problem is Riley started to get a little greedy about who gets to say what, so I don't know if this partnership is going to work out. Can I get to say Doogie dropped it? The doggy dropped it? I don't think so. Friday. Well, I learned my lesson about getting a ride from Mom, so I'm back to walking to school. But when I was headed home with Riley this afternoon, I seriously didn't think I had the energy to make it up the hill to my house. So I asked Riley if he'd give me a piggyback ride. Riley didn't exactly jump at the idea, so I had to remind him that we're best friends, and this is the kind of thing best friends do for each other. He finally caved when I offered to carry his backpack for him. Now, let's think, is that an even exchange? If I'm carrying somebody on my back and they're carrying my backpack, have they really helped me do anything? I don't know. I have a feeling this was a one-time thing, though, because Riley was completely wiped out by the time he dropped me off at my house. You know, if the school is going to take away our bus ride home, the least they could do is install a ski lift on our hill. I've emailed the principal about 5 times with my suggestion, but I haven't heard anything back. When I got to my house, I was pretty tired, too. My new thing is that I take a nap every day after school. The fact that I live for my naps. Sleeping after school is the only way I can really recharge my batteries, and on most days, the second I get home, I'm in bed. Excuse me. I'm actually kind of becoming an expert at sleeping. Once I'm out, I can sleep through just about anything. The only person I know who's better at sleeping than me is Roderick. And here's the reason I say that. A couple of weeks ago, Mom had to order Roderick a new bed because he had worn his out. So the furniture guy comes to take his old mattress and box spring away. When they came, Roger was in the middle of his after-school nap, so they took his bed anyway, and he just slept on the floor, right in the middle of his empty bed frame. The thing I worry about is that Dad is going to ban our after-school naps. I'm starting to get a feeling he's sick of waking the two of us up for dinner every night. Tuesday. Well, I hate to admit this, but I think my naps are starting to have an effect on my grades. See, I used to do my homework when I got home from school, and then I watch TV at night. But lately, I've been trying to do my homework while watching TV, and sometimes they just don't work out real good. I had this 4-page biology paper due today, but last night I kind of got caught up in the show I was watching, so I had to write the whole thing in the computer lab during recess today. I didn't have a lot of time to do any research, so I played with the margins and the font size to stretch what I had to 4 pages, but I'm pretty sure Mrs. Nolan is going to call me in. This is Greg's 4-page report. Does that look like enough? I don't know. Let's see if I back this up. Y'all see more. Here we go. That's better. Yesterday, I actually got a 0 on a quiz in geography. But in my defense, it was really hard to study for the quiz and watch the football game at the same time. To be honest with you, I don't think teachers should be making us memorize all this stuff to begin with. Because in the future, everyone's going to have a personal robot that tells you everything you need to know. The funny thing is that's not that far from the truth. They're called smartphones. Speaking of teachers, today, Miss Craig was in a really bad mood. That's because the big dictionary that usually sits on her desk was missing. I'm sure someone just borrowed it and forgot to put it back, but the word is Miss Craig kept using the word stole. Miss Craig said that if the dictionary wasn't returned to her desk before the end of period, she was keeping everyone inside for recess. Then she told us she was going to leave the room, and if the culprit returned the dictionary to her desk, there wouldn't be any consequences and there would be no questions asked. Miss Craig made Patty Farrell class monitor and then left the room. Patty takes her job as class monitor really seriously, and she thinks she's in charge. Nobody dares to step out of line. I was just hoping the person who took the dictionary would hurry up and come clean because I had 2 cartons of chocolate milk for lunch. May I please use the lavatory? No. So let's think. Based on that sentence, if you had 2 cartons of milk for lunch and you asked someone to use the lavatory, what do you think the lavatory is in this book? Just think. You had a lot to drink and you wish the teacher would hurry up and come back. So you asked the class monitor, can you use the lavatory? What do you think the lavatory is? What do you think we call that room? We don't call it a lavatory. But nobody came forward. And sure enough, Miss Craig stuck to her promise and kept us inside for recess. Then she said she was going to keep us inside every day until the dictionary was returned. Miss Craig has kept us inside the past 3 days and still no dictionary. Patty Farrell was sick, so Miss Craig put Alex Alex A. in charge of the room while she was gone. Alex was a good student, but people weren't afraid of him the way that they were afraid of Patty. As soon as Miss Craig left the room, it was complete pandemonium. So let's look at that last paragraph again. See if I can read it and show it to you at the same time. Alex is a good student, but people aren't afraid of Alex the way they are afraid of Patty. As soon as Miss Craig left the room, it was complete pandemonium. Give me a synonym for pandemonium. Remember, synonyms are words that mean the same. So give me a synonym for pandemonium. This is what pandemonium looks like. It's completely misspelled. This is what the opposite of pandemonium looks like. So give me a synonym. Tell me something, a word. What does that look like? I'm going to use the word chaos. Let's see if you guys can find another word for it. A couple of guys who were sick of getting stuck inside for recess decided to try and figure out who took Miss Craig's dictionary. The first person they interrogated was a kid named Corey Lamb. Okay, another big word, interrogated. Excuse me. So let's listen to these few sentences again. Excuse me. A couple of guys who were sick of getting stuck inside for recess every day decided to try and figure out who took Miss Craig's dictionary. The first person they interrogated was a kid named Corey Lamb. So, the kids are trying to figure out who took the dictionary. What do you think interrogated means? They're going to interrogate someone to find out if they took the dictionary. So what do you think they're going to do? I think Corey was number one on the list of suspects because he's smart and always using big words. Corey fessed up to the crime in no time flat, but it turns out he only said it because the pressure made him crack. The next kid on the list was Peter Land, and before you knew it, Peter was confessing too. I figured it was just a matter of time before the guys cornered me, so I knew I had to think of something fast. I've read enough Sherlock Sammy books to know that sometimes it takes a nerd to get you out of a pinch. I figured if anyone could crack the case, it was Alex A. So me and a couple of other guys who were worried about getting hassled went over to Alex to see if he could help us out. We told Alex we needed him to solve the mystery of who took Miss Craig's dictionary, but he didn't even know what we were talking about. I guess Alex had been so wrapped up in his book that he hadn't even noticed what had been going on around him for the past couple of days. Plus, Alex always stays inside to read during recess, so Miss Craig's punishment hadn't really had a big effect on his life. Unfortunately, Alex has read his share of Sherlock Sammy books too. So he said he would help us if we paid him $5. Well, that was totally unfair because Sherlock Sammy only charges a nickel. But me and the other guys agreed it was worth it, and we pulled our money together and forked over the $5. We laid out the facts of the case to Alex, but we didn't know a whole lot. Then we asked Alex if he could get us pointed in the right direction. I expected Alex to start taking notes and spout some scientific mumbo-jumbo, but all he did was close the book he was reading and show the cover to us. And you're not going to believe this. It was Miss Craig's dictionary. Alex said he had been studying the dictionary to get ready for the state spelling bee next month. Well, that would have been nice to know before we gave him our $5. Anyway, there was no time to waste complaining because Miss Craig was going to be back in the room in any second. Corey Lamb grabbed the book from Alex and put it on Miss Craig's desk, but she walked in right at that moment. Corey didn't take the book. Miss Craig sees him put the book on her desk. So what do you think's going to happen next? Miss Craig ended up going back on her whole no consequences promise. So Corey Lamb is going to be spending the next 3 weeks inside during recess. Looking on the bright side though, at least he'll have Alex A to keep him company. And that's where we're going to end this one because it's another day in the, where are my words? It's another day in his diary. We're at 19 minutes and we've gone past 20 pages. So we've gotten a little bit more information about Greg's life. His brother is on edge because he's lost all his binkies. And he had a little situation at school. It didn't give us any clues, though, to what the last straw might be. So, I guess we'll have to keep reading. Bye-bye.